You don't know what a kit is, but you want to know what a kit is. Gunplapedia.
Gundam Kimaris. Kimaris is one of the 72 Gundam frames from Mobile Suit Gundam Iron-Blooded Orphans. Kimaris is the prize showpiece of the Bodwin family. One of the 7 stars of Gellerhorn, one of the 7 major families that gained their rank by kicking mobile armor ass back in the Calamity War 300 years ago. AI monster men were rampaging across the world, and whoever beat up the most ended up getting a big seat at the big table, and the Bodwin family is one of them, with their first head using this Gundam Kimaris to beat the shit out of many mobile armor. It sat unused for centuries at that point, so it's just like an ornamental piece. The Alea Vignana system that let the pilot integrate directly with the controls was dangerous and then outlawed, and no one really wanted to use it, and it was smelly, and honestly, there's nothing too special about Gundam frames, besides maybe the fact they have 2 AHAB reactors, and a Graze is not only infinitely cheaper, but just as good in the right hands. So it sat mothballed for a while, until the current scion of the Bodwin family, Gaelio, has a chance encounter with some orphan space rats on Mars, and he and his buddies end up getting their shit kicked in by the Barbados and Tekkadan. So he sees that cool Gundam suit, and he's like, whoa, it's a Gundam. And he's like, wait a minute. My family's got one of those in our basement. So he goes and digs it out, and he brings back the Kimaris. Exactly as it was preserved 300 years ago, looking like a weirdo, but a cool weirdo. It does not have the same Alea Vignana system, so he's using traditional controls, a swapped out cockpit. And it's not really any more particularly effective than his Schwabble Graze, but it's cool. One of the key features of Kimaris is integrated systems and hidden equipment. One of which being massive fuck-off thrusters in the legs that let Kimaris achieve unbelievable speeds in 0G. And Gaelio would use that to just dart across a battlefield using the Gungear lance to thrust, and thrust, and thrust, and thrust. And that's his whole game plan, actually, is just thrusting at you. He became very predictable. But it worked. The Gungear itself is a cool little lance that not only is a big pokey stick, but has a pair of powerful cannons built into it, which are not accessible in this game in any way. Boo! And it also has 2 hidden slash disc launchers. These guys pop out of the shoulders and fire these razor-sharp metal discs that are made out of the same material the frames are made out of, that are actually able to slice through and shave off nanolaminate. Neat thing about slash disc, it has a defense down property. So if I am knocking this guy normally for 162, hit him with a flash disc, and I am now hitting him for 192. And the other cool thing is, unlike a defense down like Goosh and Halberd, this actually lasts for a large amount of time. Whole 10 seconds on my count. So you can hold it to inject more shots in, or just fire off a single one. But if you're looking for a nice, cheap, easy way to get some extra damage out of bosses and stuff, Slash Disc is really useful. It also has that funny looking head on it that, while very distinctive, is hard to mesh with other designs. It's supposed to contain a ton of different sensors and cameras that let it properly readjust and course correct during its high-speed movements. It also contains a flashbang launcher. These guys will stun, not for a super amount of time. They have some tracking on them. And they at least happen to stun for, a good 2 or 3 seconds. Set up a slash disc or something similar with it. How well do they home? Pretty well, actually. It also has access to a little folding knife on its waist as a last resort. It's just a basic saber combo, nothing to write home about. It's one more thing that you can use those awesome legs for. Honestly, my favorite part about it is those hidden boosters. It's one of those rare movement skills that actually does damage as well, and doesn't completely whiff, like something like the Justice Fatum likes to do. It just looks amazing. Gaelio would use the Kimaris to try to regain his honor after being pushed into a ditch and spit on by a bunch of dirty orphans over the course of Iron-Blooded Orphans Season 1.